Welcome to the Nomad Network, your first stop for complete and comprehensive Chicago Bears football coverage. Dive deep into analyses, updates, and all things Bears. Subscribe to our YouTube channel today and never miss a beat. Thank you in advance for your support. We promise to bring you the best because together we're unstoppable. Go Bears!
Yo, no maniacs. Welcome into this edition of Nomad at Night. We are in the thickets of the offseason, and this is how I know football is right there peeping around the corner when it starts cooking outside. And it is starting to cook out there. It's simmering out there. And that's how I know. My body always lets me know we right there at the edge of football season right now. And it's not that far away. I know it's a few weeks from now, 3 or 4 weeks, give or take, but man, it's right around the corner, man. So this is not going to be an empty calorie show, but we don't have a lot. But what I have to talk about, I think it's only 4 or 5 bullet points of the argument of what ingredients does it take to make a championship NFL team, and do the Bears have that? I have 5 nice bullet points to discuss here, but they're simple points, but it's going to, trust me, it's going to bring up some engagement, man. I think we're going to have a nice time talking about that because the opinions will differ. But welcome in one more time, man. Get ready to have a nice show tonight, man. It's hot outside. And also, man, I can't wait to get the show done, to be honest with you. Don't tell nobody, but my girlfriend and I, we about to finish the show From. Anybody a fan of that show out there, let me know. But that show is dope. It's real dope, man. If you like different, you like a little sci-fi, you like a little horror mixed in together, that's the kind of show you want, man. It's on MGM Plus. It's just MGM. Man, it's a great show. We're about to finish that up. And I don't know, we're going to do a little Chicago PD, man. We're having a nice little Jameson weekend, me and my girlfriend, man. We're just having a good time trying to stay cool, man. But let me pass the rock on over to Canada, man. Go throw him an alley-oop. Hopefully he ate a salad today. He can dunk.
No salad today. Today we ate we had a little bit of Indian food today. We went across the board overseas. Something a little bit different, a little bit of vegetarian fare. I had myself a samosa chaat, which is a vegetarian samosa mixed with some like Indian yogurt, some 3 different type of chutneys basically, and they mixed that together, and it was dope, man. Had that on some white rice, and that was it. No meat for your boy today. Just kept it nice and vegetableized, and I'm good to rock, man. At least the chef isn't coming to ruin my situation. I'm well fed and I'm not hungry. You know what I'm saying? But it's Sunday. Welcome in, one and all, to Nomad at Night. We're going to do it again. Leo Reigns, what it do? Smitty Q, what it do? Big shout-outs to both y'all in the chat, and I guarantee more folks will be here soon.
Levante as well, first one in the chat.
No, I didn't see Levante. I didn't see Levante. Big ups to Levante as always. Oh, there he is. There he is, man. Peace to you, Levante, as always. And we'll get it done here. Nothing super special for me this week or anything to that effect. Just regular standard fare, trying to beat the heat, and that's about it. Things are pretty decent here where I am, so no complaints, nothing to that effect. Just status quo, as they say. What's up? Okay, I'm not gonna try to pronounce that. Well, I would stop yapping if I could figure out your name. Anyways, Trip, what it do, man? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh, it's cool. This is an enjoyable time of the year for man. I like the heat. Less clothing. Always fun to be able to shed some threads and go outside and just let the air, the sun, just wash all over your body. But without being hypocritical, you gotta have AC at night, because sweating when you're trying to sleep, that ain't good for nobody. So yeah, enjoying the time that we have here, the seasons as they are. Yeah, got some editing done. Oh, and shout out to BCP Bears Country Podcast was on there Thursday night with.
How did that go, man? I didn't get the chance to jump in. I was on some late night work. I was doing training, clean up to like 2:30 in the morning, man. But I wanted to jump in and say at least what's up. How did it go?
It was cool. It was cool. We kicked it. It was at Carl and motherfucking Foster and Pizza the J and Shorty. We talked about various things and we went into, more about the stadium situation, of which more stuff happened since. But yeah, it was a good time. Always going home over there because the chat is, it's like Grizz and them and all the regulars, all the scallywags that at the bar. When they come in, you say their name because everybody's at home. So big up to everybody there, and it's Sunday night now. So let's see what's popping as we, I guess, end one week and start another with another month starting this week.
All right,
yes, indeed.
What happened with me this week? Yeah, of course, more work. Might be just for the it won't change a whole lot, but weekdays I might be occupied, let's just say, during the day. So people that enjoy the the shorts in the middle of the day, I might be away, may not see those until like later on in the afternoon. So they'll come, but a little bit later on in the day. So just be thinking about that. Might have to alter some stuff around, but we'll see when we cross that hurdle. Also, man, I pulled the trigger on a 2010. I think we talked about it a few days ago. Chevy Equinox.
Oh, you did pull the trigger.
I did. We got it. Yeah, it's a nice vehicle, man. It's got. I feel like I told you, man. It has some of that storm damage. The hail beat it all up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're saying you're getting a good deal.
Yeah, it's a really good deal, man. I only got it for a few thousand, and it's a nice vehicle, man. But it's got a little, it's a 16-year-old vehicle, so you got to start, thinking about. Got a little bit of some kind of little joint problem in the bottom of it, like a ball joint or something, but gonna let the mechanic down the street from here put it up in the air and see what's going on with that. Nip that in the bud. I think we got a real good vehicle.
Sweet, good for you, man.
Cool.
You said 2010?
It's 2010, yeah.
That's a good year, man. That's a good year. I say that because my Infinity was a 2010, and I love that car with all my heart. She's gone now.
Hey, I had a homie that told me to never buy an Infinity or an Acura.
What you say?
I had a homeboy that told me never buy an Infinity or an Acura because it's kind of difficult to get people to work on.
Packing the Mac in the back of the Acura.
Your boy don't know what the hell you're talking about. So first off,
I think you gotta think. I've seen one of my boys go through that with his Acura.
No, man, Acura's
Honda.
Honda.
About the Infinity, you might be right about that. But
Infinity is Nissan, and this is why it's not so. Neither one of them is too bad, right? Like so, Acura is Honda for the most part. The parts are interchangeable. You should be okay. Same thing with an Infinity at a G37, G35, G37 are sort of just luxury equivalent to a Maxima and an Altima. So parts are more or less ubiquitous. If you need to go in, like we got a little spot here. We call it Kenny U Pull because you pull the damn parts yourself. you just go out there.
We got those here.
Okay, same type of thing. So I rolled down there, found myself a Maxima. I had a little my daughter, man. My daughter left a cheeseburger on the seat, not like you have like an armrest in the middle of your back seat.
Right.
She left it on there and then closed it up for the winter. So I didn't even know. I came back and it had like fused into the armrest. You know what I'm saying? So like I had to pull that armrest out. I was like, what am I supposed to do? So I went down to Kenny U pool, pulled myself an armrest right out of a Maxima. It's the exact same damn thing. Slid that puppy in and away we go. We're good as new. So like I say, those two makes and models. Same thing with like similar things with Lexus too, man. Lexus for the most part is Toyota, so you should be able to pull parts from a Camry, which is probably your closest to like the 300 series Lexus. But all those three manufacturers are just luxury brand, generally with all-wheel drive case scenario for Honda, Toyota, and Nissan.
Yeah, man, it's my Lexus. I never really had a problem, finding people to work on it. One time I think when I first got to Georgia, I ran into somebody because I can't remember exactly what the situation was. He kind of turned me away. I'm just like, really? So yeah, I ain't really.
You'll find trouble for people working like the brands. If you got a Jaguar, or if you got a Land Rover, and I have a Land Rover, your ass out. You need to go find somebody. You need to find special people. Let me tell you right now, shout out to the MFs at Hunt Club Jaguar Land Rover. Just have to give these guys a bit of props because I ain't never had service like this in my life. I'm just saying. Never had service like this. I walk into that joint. First time I went in there, I was scared because like I assumed they're going to charge me out the nose. Turns out a homeboy from high school works there. So I'm like, great. This guy's working right here. Kyle, what's up? What's up? Like, give me the homeboy discount and all that. So he kind of hooked me up. But right off the bat, they're like, all right, sir, we're going to take you out to your loaner. I'm like, are you sure? So they put me in like a brand new Land Rover Defender, which is like just a monstrosity. This is crazy whip. So I jump in this thing and I go off about my business. And then I read the fine print and it says something to the effect of like, if you don't bring this car back, we're going to charge you $150. So I assume they're going to charge me $150 a day because that's kind of what the fine print says. So I come back the next day at like 7:30 in the morning, keys. Like, yo, y'all just take this back because I am not trying to pay $150 until my, per day until my thing is finished. You just take that and let me know when it's finished. I'll get the hell out of here. I'm like, sir, okay, but the whip is yours. You can take it for the week if that's how long it takes us to fix your car. How long is your car going to be in here? We don't know. We tell you when you need to bring the car back, but the car's yours. I'm like, all right. I'm going to backpedal out of here with these keys. Like, you can stop me anytime. We're not stopping you, sir. All right. I jump back in this whip and off I go. And that's just the level of treatment they give me every single time. I had another story about that, but I'll leave it for another time, man. But
you ever had to and if you never had to do it, you wouldn't know what the pain is like. You get one of these newer model cars with all these key fobs and all this kind of stuff, and lose that. You got one key and you fuck around and lose it if you want to, and see how much it's gonna cost you to get another.
Brother, man, I won't, man. I know so much about what you're talking about, man. It's like $1,000.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a good $750. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's basically what you're paying for. Don't lose your key fobs, y'all. Keep them in good standing. And yeah, I know all about that because of my job and all that. But I'll leave that alone, man. I'm sure folks want to get into football.
Bro, I took my girlfriend to what was the Georgia State Fair, I think it was. And we's out there and I mess around, and for a whole almost 24 hours, I'm without a key. This car just stuck out there at the fair. I'm just like, man, I go talk to people trying to find somebody that there's just like, we ain't got no kind of reference for your key, man. It's not like we can just pull it out of thin air, dog. We need, and I went to the dealership, and that's exactly what they hit me with. I think it was like, told me shit was like $780, some shit. I can't remember. But it made me physically sick to the stomach. Like, this is what I'm gonna have to pay for a key. And luckily, I go out there and me and my girlfriend just decided we're gonna go out there and just walk through the lot and see if we can luck up and find it. That's the last ditch effort before we have to go pay that money. And sure enough, somebody turned it into the guards gate.
Oh, you're lucky, bro.
Man, who you telling? I ain't need to be paying that. I just couldn't. No, that was gonna hurt me at that time because I had stuff going on.
That's luck, man. Because the company I used to work for has a technology along those lines. It's for like, it's for keyless. They call it a keyless car solution. But in the end, fast forwarding through all the BS, basically, high tech as high tech can be. They're just taking your key, putting it in a box, and having like robot arms work your key for you, which is like the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of in my life. And in the end, they're destroying these people's keys by the thousands. And they would have folks call back. All right, so like we want to cancel. We're not going to use your service anymore. What happens to our keys? Well, your keys are grafted into a box and destroyed. We're sorry. You're going to have to buy yourself a new key. Oh, for real? And these people go nuts. Trust me. It was a big debacle at the organization I was working for. Go figure.
And found out later that somebody that I knew that knew somebody that could like had specialized training and knew how to do this shit. He had a little side business going on. And he was just like, man, anytime you ever need something, man, I was like, man, make me like 3 of these motherfuckers right now. And he was charging like $75 for it. You know what I mean? So I definitely got me some extra keys for that Lexus somewhere around here. But anyway, man, what else went on with me this week, man? It's the heat right now. It's so goddamn oppressive, man, right now.
I don't complain about, you understand? I don't get there. I don't care how hot it is. You're not going to hear me go, damn, it's hot. I'm sorry. Okay. It's hot, like stink outside. Don't get me wrong. You're just not going to hear me say, I'm not going to say nothing about it because I know for almost 9 months out the year, I will be complaining about how cold it is. So, you know what I mean? I'll take the heat.
Your whole life and you still ain't just found symmetry with cold yet. And that's crazy.
Brother, I ain't trying. I'm from Jamaica. I'm just saying. I'm not from like. I grew up here and all
level of acceptance, man. We live in Chicago, man. You gotta marry that shit, man.
No, I did not sign off on the move to Canada. I was just brought here, man. I feel like I was on a slave ship.
Man, you have to come to terms, man.
I came to terms with it a long time ago. When I was a child, you would go out and you'd go sledding. You go make snowman. You go throw snowballs at your friend. You go play hockey. You go do all these fun things in the winter to get over the fact that it's freezing cold. Now I'm old now. I ain't going outside to play no hockey. I can give a damn about a snowman. I might throw a snowball at you though. That's about as close as it's good.
Yeah, from the porch.
But kids, you know what? I do feel sorry for people who need that outlet and just need to be moving around and too much enclosure gets to them. I feel for people like that because I'm exactly the opposite. Give me more. Give me more of that. I'm cool with myself. I'm cool with my home. I'm cool with the one I'm with. And it is groovy over here. You know what I mean? It's just, we enjoy it. And so it's a great time for us. I mean, summers and spring and summer is filled with a whole lot more work for me. You know, when you got your own stuff to take care of, you got moms, you got grandma, because she got lazy sons that don't want to look after her. You got all this, you know, she got property.
Have you called them out?
Yeah, I'm calling them the fuck out, man. They lazy as fuck.
Damn.
It's the truth, you know.
Hear that, grandma?
No, the sons. I'm talking about the sons, not grandma. The damn sons. you know, but she raised me like her, so I'm like an extra son, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's all work for me, but it's all good too. You know what I mean? It's all good. You know, when I got to go do something, I just got to go do something. What up, Ski? What up, Paulie?
Yeah, man. Big shout outs to Paul. Big shout outs to True's out there, man. Jay Grizz is out there. He's got some questions for you though, Trip.
Hey, Paul, I got some music, man. I got some shit that you can sink your teeth into for beats. I know what you asked for, and I got it for you. I wanted to see if I can get you to get us a nice hype video for the season. Think you'll like the music too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you know what, Paul? Yeah, that's a great little hookup. Because I remember Paul was asking about some tunes some time ago. You're right.
Yeah, I'm gonna give him some beats anyway, just so he can do some of his own stuff. I think he'll like it.
What's popping, Rhett? Yo, so on another note, Jay Grizz is asking, yo, Triple R. Here we go. Yo, Triple R.
Hold on, before you go there, kids. Hey, Paul, let me put the email up real quick so you can email me here. Because I'm not sure if let me take that comment down. Email me there because I'm not sure if we got, I can't remember if, I know we exchanged emails and all that kind of stuff, but just hit me there so we can get up to date because I'm not on Twitter no more.
Yeah, Paul, that'd be super cool, man. He does Paul Ski does some dope videos, man. So yeah, so Triple R, do you keep your onions, tomatoes, apples, and oranges in the fridge? It's a serious question. He's asking for a friend, though.
No, and no. Onions under the counter, you know, in the cabinet, you know, with the pots and pans. Nice, cool, dark, dry spot. You didn't ask about garlic, but that's and it's, you know, cloves on top of the toaster oven and on the counter. Apples, oranges, tomatoes, countertops.
Hold on, Trip, man. Paul Rodriguez, we love you too, bro.
Yeah, man, we got to make sure we give Paul a shout out.
What up, Paul?
Stop playing, Paul. We got you.
We love you too, brother. Sorry, Trip.
Under the counter. What was the first one?
Tomatoes, though.
Tomatoes. No, you want to leave those on the counter if they're still green.
Okay.
Because if you put them in the fridge, it'll stop them from ripening. Yeah. But once they're like ripe, then you can put them in there. It'll extend them for a few days.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Everything 100% the same, right? All those things are out of the fridge except for tomatoes when ripe. If the tomatoes are ripe, I put them in.
But now sometimes I will throw in, like if I know I'm going to be eating them, like some oranges or tangerines or something, I will put them in the fridge and then eat them later because I like them, you know, chilled.
Hey, I like depends on how I'm feeling. I like a pear at room temperature at times if it's ripe enough. But if it's a little unripened, I like it cold and crispy.
Okay. Word up.
Depends on the fruit, how ripe it is. If it's really ripe, you got to throw it in there. Because it's just gonna basically, you leave it out too long, as you ain't gonna have it long. It just refrigerate,
or it goes into a smoothie. You know what I'm saying, kids?
Keep the eggs on the counter when
drinking that right now.
All right, man. You know what, man? I'm just thinking right now. You got me thinking about that fruit and vegetables and stuff, man. Because we haven't this year we didn't. We usually go and get partially grown plants. We go to the market and get some of the the seedlings. The little seedlings. We're just helping out the local community. We get some of their stuff and we put them in the dirt instead of trying to go from seed with everything. All right. And so this year we just didn't, and we went from seed with everything. And this year, I don't know why, but we're getting a little diminishing returns. The only thing I see out there, and we planted probably about 6, 7 different things. Only thing I'm seeing out there is tomato and cucumber so far. But that's okay. Sometimes that happens. You don't have plenty of those, though.
Man, I don't know what it is, but I can't grow strawberries for the life of me, man. That's all I got to say about all that.
I can tell you why. It's probably the depth of how you plant your seeds.
So that might have been all right. So that might be the situation for the first 3 attempts. The 4th attempt now, after 3, I was like, screw this. And I went to the store, and I was actually out there to buy some other plant for somebody else. And I see this beautiful, pre-planted strawberry situation. Ain't no strawberries on it, but they will grow, or at least that's what I thought would happen. So I spend the $20. I buy this thing of strawberries, bring it home. I've been watering it, and it just ain't growing. Go figure. I don't know.
Let me tell you something. Those are teeny tiny ass seeds, and all you really do, you need to take like a let's just say a nail file or something, and just go over the dirt lightly. Just make a line, take those little teeny tiny seeds, and just sprinkle them up in there. And I mean, like, you barely scratching the surface level. You know what I mean? You can't like dig a hole and put those little bitty seeds in there and think you're gonna get strawberries. You gotta like basically raise the surface.
So you're saying it's too deep?
Yes, yeah, it's too much depth.
Okay, all right.
Guarantee you that's what it is.
Shallow line, like you was making a small bumper, like a little toot.
All right.
Don't dig in the soil, kid. Just take the tip of that nail file and just make a line, and just make a little line. That's all you gotta do. And just sprinkle them bad boys in there, cover them over real quick, throw a little water on it, and just wait.
Sound advice, sir. I will take it and run with it.
I've been here the whole time, motherfucker. How come you didn't say that?
Well, what the hell? I thought you just put water on the shit and it grows.
This like
I didn't realize I needed.
Start messing around a little bit more. You'll understand certain things. Like you can put like a green bean damn near anywhere in the ground. That's something going most of the time gonna come up. I mean, I don't pretty much how deep you put it in there, it don't matter. It's just a resilient bean. Beans are like that. But like that kind of vegetable, you don't want to get too far away from the surface because the seed is so small.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. I didn't realize I needed gardening tech support, but clearly I do. So there's that.
Most shit you can just throw some seeds in the ground. Most of that shit will come up, but some shit you cannot. You got to know exactly what kind of depth you need.
Interesting. Like I said, I had no idea, but that doesn't explain what's going on with the actual plant that I got going. It's grown. It's just dying, and I hate it. Anyway.
I'll tell you what you can do to start it. Now go get some more strawberry seeds. Take a little piece of napkin, throw those strawberry seeds on there, and then fold it over. Fold another piece of the napkin over top of it and just wet it.
Germination.
Put it on your counter or something. Put it in a Ziploc bag and just see what happens.
All right, I've been meaning to give that a shot, actually. So I'll do it because I go through, good Lord only knows how many strawberries in a year. I'm a strawberry monster, and it's just the truth.
My buddy, speaking of strawberries, was telling me about he's growing strawberries, but white strawberries. And that
I gotta get all racist for.
That's that GMO shit.
Nah, he's into like colors and shit like that. So instead of just your red strawberries, he got some white seeds, some like yellow seeds or something. But this year he's stuck specifically with the whites. But whatever pot or bin that he's using, he's used it before, like last few years for strawberries. And he's saying that they're coming in more than he planted. So as, the developing strawberries kick off those seeds, they're going to be in that soil as well as the ones that you're planting. But his are coming in and he's got the white, big, nice, sweet strawberries, taste like strawberries, that they're white. And
Oh, I've seen those, man. Those look delicious. I have to try those.
not antique, but there's a word for it. Begins with A.
You got me. Well, once you get to gardening, I have to defer to.
What you ask, Trips?
There's a word, something about seeds, and traditional. It's not antique, but there's a word. Original, no. Authentic, no. There's a word, but I can't think of the fucking word now. It's gonna mess with me.
I know what you're talking about. It's on the tip of my tongue too, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. Somebody help me out, chat. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Ain't nobody know what you're talking about, but you keep going.
Aerial.
We're with you.
Heirloom.
Ding, 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 ding. Thank you.
See, he went with albino. That's kind of what I was thinking. But
hey, why you gotta scare me?
Sorry.
Well, you gotta get personal. Settle down.
I'm sorry.
Come on, Smitty. That's not cool. I mean, you be out there in the middle of the road and be fog coming through, and it's like, what was that? And it's like, it'd be one of them.
Sorry, I just got a flashback to the movie Me, Myself, and Irene with Whitey the albino, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great little addition to the film.
Real talk, Trips, man. Grab some of them shits for your little seed bank, man. Your little seed
bank. I don't have a seed bank. He does. But that's something that he did have. He got one of those little, it wasn't made for seeds, but it's something with a lot of low compartments, like the little medicine dispensers, like if you need going away for 14 days or whatever. It's got the little individual compartments for your pills. He's got those labeled with different seeds, for your go bag.
I'll tell you one of the weird things and sometimes cool things about Mother Nature. I always talk to y'all about how many critters we got running around. It's like Wild Kingdom in my damn backyard, and they're always fighting something, trying to get in there and get into the garden. And sometimes, just a byproduct of some of that critter fighting, some of them critters get in there and get a hold of some shit. We only planted like 3, maybe 4 tomato plants. My girlfriend just came in there and she says like 10 something plants out there. And she's like, I know we didn't plant. I was like, them damn squirrels in there eating tomatoes and dropping seeds, and just tomato plants are springing up this year.
And nature taking this course.
Perfect. And at the perfect time when we're not having a good harvest, we're not having a good planting season, here they come. We about to have a boom in tomatoes.
Oh, would you look at that? That's cool.
Hey, byproduct. It's wild.
That is cool, man.
Oh, come on, Smitty Q.
Damn.
He said, I didn't tell you, I almost had to whoop a brother at the gas pump in South Dakota, of all places.
I bet it wasn't no
brother crime in South Dakota. We all just get along.
What was he up to?
Probably hey, at the gas pump, who knows? Getting off the road, who knows what substances they doing, talking all crazy. You just trying to gas up, clean off your windshield, mind your own goddamn business. And here they come talking crazy.
What up, Liberty's Outlook? Been a while since I've seen you.
What up?
Hey, Scrolls.
Red Baron.
All right, man. Y'all ready to kick off this conversation? Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring up what I did, my homework, and I sat down and gave it some thought on what I've always noticed about championship teams. And we can agree or disagree about my points if y'all want to. But I'll just break down one point at a time, and we'll get into a nuanced discussion about that particular point. And so we're just going to start this one off real easy. The most obvious thing in the world, one of the most important things you got to have with the championship roster, do you have a championship team in your midst, is do you have an elite quarterback? So that's the first question. Does Chicago have an elite quarterback? And I'm just going to save my commentary until we get back to me. Go ahead, kids. Be as nuanced as you want to be about that.
Yeah. Like the kid is on the cusp, in my opinion. There's a little bit of work that needs to be done.
He's either on the cusp or he's already elite.
No, like when I say he's on the cusp, There's just a couple of things he needs to clean up. And I think he has. And not only do I think he has, I just thought that he would need this offseason to clean those things up. So I wasn't 100% sure if we would have one last year. Turns out he showed us the hard part of quarterbacking, which is clutch gene, right? And I've said this in the past. I say he's kind of reverse Jay Cutler. He has the clutch gene that, like, when shit hits the fan, he'll put the cape on and save the day. And that's the hardest part. It's the little things that he needs to get a little bit better at. And all that takes, in my opinion, is more knowledge and more understanding of what his head coach wants to do, as well as foot placement and focus. And if he spends some time on any one of those things, I think we're good to go. So I'm going to I knock on wood and say that we're not only do we have an elite quarterback, but we're going to see elite quarterback play in 2026.
Yeah, I think he is developing into an elite quarterback, meaning that, remember, the last season, how many games did the offense, just take a pass on the first half? And, there's a lot of points that was left on the field, leaving, the team in precarious situations for the second half, needing those comebacks. But developing more as a professional, more within Ben Johnson's offense, as Kedz alluded to, and more trust with your teammates and more responsibility for the offense itself, taking that up on his shoulders, hey, receivers, you need to be here, running backs, you need to be there, tight ends need to be there, offensive linemen, you need to do this before the snap, taking full command of the offense, then, we are talking franchise dude. Now he's definitely on the road there, but he ain't there yet.
Okay. I agree with most everything both of y'all said. And I'm going to start with the premise of my question in the first place. Does a championship roster need an elite quarterback? And, I'm on the fence, and I'm leaning towards you don't have to have it if you have other components, other parts of your team that's that damn good. I've seen it happen, watching football over the years. I've seen teams really win that didn't have an elite quarterback. So I have to say no. But under the circumstances, is Caleb Williams an elite quarterback? I definitely think he's brimming.
Or to answer your question more succinctly, I'm gonna go back to Denny Green, rest in peace. They are who we thought they were. That dude. But his expression back in the day with Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss was, the quarterback doesn't have to be, I'm paraphrasing, but a professional, race car driver. All he got to do is drive the bus. So the quarterback doesn't necessarily have to be elite as long as he can just get the ball to the playmakers. If that means a 5-yard pass that goes for 95 yards, cool. That's a 95-yard touchdown pass. Yay. But we know what it is. So being elite, will be better helpful, but having to be elite, not necessary.
I think with an elite quarterback, what it does for you is you might have been like one of those teams that you might have been a canary in the coal mine. You know what I mean? That team, you just happen to be having this quarterback that can manage the game well enough to get you over the top, and you can win one. And then what do you do from there? You keep that quarterback and try to do that shit again? Probably not. You're probably looking for another quarterback, and then you got that conundrum. And so are you a championship team that can turn into a dynasty? Probably not until you get that elite quarterback. And so what that elite quarterback can do for you is you talking about multiple championships.
Well, look at you just read Barron's mind, or he read yours. Great minds. The comment: you don't need an elite quarterback to win a Super Bowl, but you need one to be a dynasty.
That's true. That's the difference.
That's a huge comment, man, because I
You can
don't.
get one this year, but what about in the next couple while that window is still open?
Has there ever been a defensive Super Bowl winning dynasty?
Yeah.
Who?
Baltimore Ravens. Not a dynasty, but I would also say that about some of those Patriot squads. It wasn't like Tom Brady was just tearing the world apart.
Who is the quarterback when Ray Lewis was on Baltimore?
Probably Joe Flacco.
Flacco, Dilfer.
Yeah,
so
Trent Dilfer
so guys are just driving the bus.
Pretty much. And there's a case to be made all over the place. There's several quarterbacks that didn't have long NFL or just didn't have star quarterback careers that won Super Bowls.
But were they a dynasty?
Arnold just now. That was kind of a slap in the face. I think Darnold is good right now, really good. But I understand what they mean by that. Sam Darnold was a nobody yesterday.
So I'm going to say it again. Or were they a dynasty, meaning multiple Super Bowl wins?
They got multiple. I'm talking about the Ravens. The
Ravens got 2. You're right.
You get more than one, man. You need to start. I ain't gonna say it's a dynasty.
Well, who was the quarterback during the Purple People Eater days?
Nobody knows. Fran Tarkenton or somebody.
You know who was the quarterback? What was the name of the Steelers defense?
Steel Curtain.
Steel Curtain. You know who? You know they had quarterbacks throughout them, but these defenses that I mentioned them because they have actual nicknames. You know, because they were dominant for several years. And it didn't matter, I don't think, who their team's quarterback was because they were just so dominant.
Yes. I'm just asking, like, did that dominance lead to multiple Super Bowl wins? And the answer in Minnesota is nope. Right? Like the answer in Baltimore is 2. Yeah, okay. 2 for sure.
Pittsburgh,
I think was more than 1 as well. It's an interesting look, man.
And the Boom people in Seattle, Legion of Boom.
Well, like, I don't think you can say that Russell Wilson is an absolute buster. But
franchise or he's good.
Perfect scenario. Even though we only got 1 out of that team. Like if they could have kept the Bears together and that whole rift between Dick and Buddy would have never happened, and they would have that's 3 or 4 Super Bowls easily.
Well, the defense was intact in '86, right? Unfortunately, Walter wasn't healthy in '86. He just wasn't. It was more Neil Anderson than anything else.
It was going in another direction because of the rift between Buddy and Dick.
That did not help.
Yeah, that put the nail in that coffin. Yeah, plus Walter not being there too. But they were at the point where Walter wasn't he wasn't the Walter of.
Well, I wouldn't even.
Walter had a lot of miles on those legs.
I wouldn't even say that, but like Neil Anderson was a bad MF too. Like nobody talks about Neil Anderson, man. Neil Anderson was a bad.
Well, because it was like what he was like bad for 2 seasons, 2.5 seasons.
That's about it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That wasn't long enough to get talked about like that.
That's fair.
There's another one. I like this one here, Jay Grizz. That's right on point. The Buck. That's
let's see the Tampa.
You know what?
Bucks
both of those teams were,
defense,
man. But Tampa only won the one time. The Giants won twice, and it sure as hell wasn't Eli Manning's fault. You're damn straight, Jay Grizz. You know what I'm saying? Like Eli ain't like.
There's at least one of them Super Bowls they won because of Eli, but that doesn't make them elite.
Man, I can't. Come on, man. I can't even say that.
He made the players that made the difference.
He did step up in that game, though. He did.
Right.
And like I say he stepped up.
No.
It might have also been the entire team, because that catch off the helmet, he didn't make that catch. And it's clearly a bad throw. You know what I'm saying? Like he did not make that catch, brother. Anyways, it's a good conversation piece to have. In my opinion, we've definitely seen one side of this conversation. We've seen one side of it, and it was real cool. I'd be so happy to see the other side of this conversation for once in 50 years. You know what I'm saying? It'd be real cool to see an offensive powerhouse in Chicago just running ruckshot on the league.
Well, the good thing is we, as viewers, calling the game as we did, make sure that you are subscribed to all three networks, the Nomad Network, Kedz the Canuck, and Sports Chicago Style, Triple R SCS, so that throughout the season you can hear the live calls. And as we make the calls, there were certain, things that we saw just critiquing Caleb Williams' game. His footwork, his pre-snap judgments reads, his putting balls in a catchable position to get the receivers run after catch. And, to a point, we've heard Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams address, those issues and, others. But to have in the front of their minds, hey, we need to improve in this area, and this area. And him personally, as the footwork aspect and the ball placement aspect and, the mental aspects. So recognizing that he has those hills to climb and those challenges to overcome, progressing to be a elite franchise quarterback will be, just mastering those things and then progressing on from there. That's why I say he's going in the right direction.
Before we leave this, man, I just want to say real quick, Caleb's ability to actually be humble about that, put those things up front and talk about them is a huge departure from the vast majority of the quarterbacks that we've had in the past, right? Just say, hey, like, here's where I fell short. I'm working on these things right now. And he's actually saying this stuff and doing it. It shows a maturity that I wasn't sure we were going to get from this young man.
Well, I'm gonna take it back to, I'm gonna just try to paint the picture as best I can and tell you why I think Caleb is and why I'm high on him right now, because some of the stuff that Kedz just got through saying, just waiting to see when that emotional maturity is going to start peeping through, when you can self-evaluate and point at you and be okay with that. And there's another thing to do that yourself and talk at a podium and be that way. That's just good PR training. That's what that is. But when you're in the building and out there on the field and that coach is lighting into your ass, when I tell you he's in your ass, he's in it. I can listen to some of that conversation during the same stuff you were listening to, kids. And I know that it was a point where he almost broke because Ben Johnson was on him. And it was starting to get to the point, like, just listening to him talk, he was just, I'm not sure if this guy even likes me. And that can happen.
Brother,
man.
He'll admit that too. This is where I'm seeing the maturity.
Yeah. That happens all the time in good coach, athlete relationships, man. It's so harsh and so judgmental at times. You're not sure if, like, man, this dude keep riding me like this, man. I'm about tired of this shit. You start getting a little bit married to that part of your mind and not accepting what he's trying to do here. And sometimes the coaches are being a straight a-hole, man, for a-hole reasons. But at within himself, he knows he's trying to push you to nether regions of your ability. You know what I mean? Once you realize that, that's the emotional maturity, and that's the breakthrough. And that's when you can absorb information and take it on the sleeve. Everything ain't a personal dig, and you don't take that home with you. You don't put that shit in your wallet and carry it around with you. But you listen. Okay, what's he trying to get? What's he trying to get out of me? That kind of thing, I can tell right now just listening to Caleb talk. I know that ain't just him jaw-jacking at the podium. No, that's real. That's going on inside the building and on that practice field. He's going to push Caleb until, it might be a point where Caleb get to a point where he can't take it no more, and it might be a little back and forth between them, but they'll fix that. That'll happen at some point for sure. It happens in every good player, coach quarterback relationship. That is going to happen. Trust me when I tell you. They're gonna bite at each other. Trust me.
I have a strange feeling that they won't, and there's one reason why. We'll see, and odds are he's 100% right. But the reason why I feel like he probably won't do that bite back thing or get frustrated in that regards and lash out is because he actually believes in what this guy is doing.
That don't mean he won't bite back.
You don't think so, eh?
Well, no. Remember last year there was some frustrating times on offense, and Caleb had that look like, "Fuck, what's going on here?"
I don't know if it was
Johnson
with
had that
Ben,
one look, but the process of maturation and growing together and building that relationship is when we know that Caleb Williams is very receptive to coaching. He's very open. But the times when shit is hitting the fan and it's very frustrating and it's very hard and something, there's a hurdle that he's just not overcoming. And now Ben Johnson is still pushing and pushing. And then there's that breaking point that as a human being we all have. But then that's the push-pull. Now, as a good coach, as a good offensive mind, you have to go, okay, all right, I found this breaking point. Let me pull it back a little bit. Let me reframe, refocus, let him catch his breath, and then take it from there. So it's always going to be, how much can I push this guy? How much can I push this guy? How much can I push this guy? And it's like, yeah, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. But it gets to a point, it's like, hey, stop pushing me, or at least slow down. So it's that building of that relationship. And because I'm sure Andy Reid knows how much he can push or Kermit the Frog over there. I'm sure Bill Belichick knew how much he could push Brady, because they went to that point. To get to that point,
you won't never know until you go too far.
Right.
You won't never find that balance unless you push it over the edge a little bit. Now you know what to do and what not to do. Rein it in. It's gonna be a couple times, and it's gonna probably happen live on TV where everybody's seeing. It's gonna be some FUs get thrown around. It's gonna happen, man. Trust me. But it ain't the worst thing in the world. But the point is, him being receptive to it is the number one thing, and not taking it personal. Because I guess Ben came on like a lion, bro. I mean, no pun intended, but he came on really, really strong with Caleb and was really, really critical of him in his game. And, he didn't know what to do with that at first, because the little honeymoon was over at the podium. Then when Ben Johnson got the job, once they got in that building, he was on that behind, bro. And and so, that part I feel pretty confident about. That marriage is just gonna blossom, and they're gonna love each other for probably the rest of their lives, as men. But the other thing too is Caleb Williams. I don't know when I start really seeing it. I think sometime last year. It was a couple of games here or there start peeping through for me. But more importantly, this year is when I really saw the signs. And I'm just like, oh. I don't remember what game particularly, but it started to grow after that, and just started to grow and things start to manifest. Probably was after that bye week or something. I just want to believe it was that time. But I start to see things in him, and I start to see him start to dictate, instead of the game being dictated to him, he started to dictate a little bit. And it was great growth. And I'm like, okay, I'm seeing it once. Boom, I'm seeing it again. Then I'm seeing it 3 times and 4 times. I'm just like, man, this dude, the moxie started to come out. The true moxie of greatness starts to peek through. And my question is, why I'm not saying he's elite yet, is stack that season. Stack that season. Go right on top of that season with some more of that. Give me that again, and that's when I'm going. That's an elite quarterback right there. He's right there, peeping right through there. I want to call it for him right now, but he's just right there, in my opinion. He's just right there. I'm
Like
just keeping it a buck right now,
and that's cool. I think he's ahead of that. And the only, you know me, man, I'm usually the guy to say wait and see. We'll see what it looks like and all that, especially with this defensive case scenario. But with the quarterback, I wasn't sure what I was getting last year, and he showed me a little bit more. The stuff he needs to deal with now is he just needed to believe in the system. He needed to believe in the head coach, and he's going to buckle down and clean up the footwork and the other little things. I know he is, because he knows what the problems are, right? So I think he's going to come through and actually do the job and do it so well that it puts the league on real notice that the Bears are effing here now.
This is the best question I've seen in here so far. Shout out to Jay Grizz for this one. And this one might surprise y'all with my answer, but Jay Grizz says, do y'all feel like Caleb has full autonomy with the offense and Ben allows him to audible out of every and any play that Caleb sees fit at the line of scrimmage? I'm going to just say yes and no.
Yeah, I'm going with no. Yeah, I'm going with their planned like pre-snap reads to audible into, but as far as just changing the play, yeah, I don't think we're there yet.
I think he has some flexibility at the line of scrimmage. He has to have some. You have to give him some rope, but the full autonomy at the line of scrimmage, nah, I don't think he's getting all of that yet. I don't think he's got well enough grasp of the system yet.
I don't think the system's even in place like that yet, right? Like, to my understanding, they were still doing installs in the playoffs, right? So, I think by 2027, again, back with that year for me, I think by 2027, the kid will have a full understanding of Ben Johnson's offense and be able to execute it inside out and backwards. I think he needs one more full year in that system because, in my opinion, I don't think the system is fully implemented yet.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're definitely still working a lot of kinks out with that in that regard. So I don't think there's no way he's got full autonomy at the line of scrimmage. He has some autonomy. If they seeing stuff and they talking about stuff in during practice that week and they doing film session, hey Caleb, you see this, and I call that. If you see something at the line of scrimmage that makes you think otherwise, trust your gut. It's probably some of that built in, but this is what
Scrolls is saying here. He's saying he allows Caleb to go to plan B, but best believe plan B is still Ben's plan. Like Ben has it built in there for sure.
That's a good way to say it, Scrolls.
Yeah. Right. You know, we see a lot and talk a lot about the 12, 13 personnel tight ends and all that. But I'm thinking that Ben Johnson has a plan for like a 5 wide, set. Now that he actually has 5 wide receivers that he could probably, do things with. A package of plays where it's like, all right, we need to hurry up. 5 wide, no tight ends, just all wide receivers, and let's run it. I don't think we've even seen that from this offense yet.
Here go Grizz with another interesting comment. Jay Grizz says, well, I think that's when we'll begin to see Ben and Caleb bump heads in the future. Decision making. Yeah, he's money. He's dead ass on the money right now.
Jay Grizz.
Because what Caleb decided to do with that autonomy and that little leeway is something Ben might not have done. It's just like, Caleb, what the fuck do you do that for?
Yeah, and that's where we get into like the Cutler Mike Mart situation. You know what I mean? Like that's like exactly the type of stuff we would see there. Man, that's interesting, man. That is interesting. All right. Well done, Jay Grizz, man. Big ups to you for that question. That got me thinking. Yeah, man. You got me thinking on that one for sure.
All right, but just to finish up the Caleb conversation, he's right there, man. And I think at some point during this season, he can turn that corner, man. Depending on how I think it comes down to how much Ben is constantly installing and changing things up. I think just to understand the West Coast offense is the fundamentals of it. I think Caleb understands it. The nuances of Ben's offense within the West Coast is what Caleb is learning. The thoughts and the concepts when he sees this front, when he sees this coverage, there's different things, there's different things that happens that they won't be. I just say they probably about 30-35% right with each other, maybe 40. And I think they got that much space to cover. I mean, ground to cover to get where they need to be at. And so what that means, how much time y'all think it is, I don't know. But anything can happen during the season where Ben can feel confident enough with Caleb and he's making the right decisions, or he just loosens the reins and say, you know what? I know we talked about it all week, but if they show you this front and you think that you can get something, go for it. There's probably a lot of that going on now, but he's still learning the rudiments of this offense right now. So you can't do that much. You gotta stay within the structure.
100%. Like I said, I think there's built-in backdoors within the structure that he can access. But when he gets into full freestyle mode is a whole other story. I think that's probably a year to go. We're probably a year out. Damn.
Right. You want to hear a more interesting point of what I think it takes to be a championship roster? This is going to be interesting for a couple reasons, but I'm going to go ahead and lay it out there for you. Got to have a dominant defense that excels in the red zone. You can have a dominant defense and be poop butt when it comes to the red zone. They just give it up.
Are you talking about bend but don't break?
Yeah. You got to have somebody, you got to have the kind of defense, and they all have to have a mindset of we clamp down when we're in this part of the field. We give up nothing. Every blade of grass gets contested. And that's the difference between a team that's in a ball game at all times and a team that's constantly playing catch up. If every time they get in the red zone, they can put 6 up on the board, you basically in a shootout for the whole game. You in trouble. If you can't stop teams in the red zone, you don't have an elite dominant defense.
I think we did pretty well last year in the red zone, to be honest with you. A lot of turnovers came out of the woodwork. I think we did okay.
Do you agree with the premise?
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Right. You can teams are going to get you one way by hook or by crook, right? They're going to get you. They're going to put yardage on you. It's just how the world works. If you can prevent them from scoring, you win. Right. And that's really the moral of this story. So I'm with you 100% on this one.
Go ahead, Trish. What do you think about that?
I get it, bend but don't break. You give up yards but not points. I would prefer, I think as we all would, a dominating defense. And yeah, I'm greedy. And I also want an offense that's putting up points. Is that too much to ask, Kedz? Can we get them both? Can we get the peanut butter and the jelly, the Kool-Aid and the sugar at the same time?
Well, you know what, Trip? The Hannah Montana theme music is all about this thing.
Well, since we're talking about,
I'm not singing it though.
Since we only talking about defense,
but I would prefer a dominant, 3 and out, 3 and out, because opposing offenses can't do shit because the defense is that dominant. But as long as they get it done, giving up. If you have to give up points, make sure it's 3s and not 7s. You're not going to live with that.
Do you think a dominant defense in the red zone is a prerequisite for a championship team?
I like what Scrolls was saying there, man.
Let me get this out of Trips right quick.
What do you think?
Is it no, because I don't know if separating, a dominant defense versus, just a dominant red zone defense. Because if it's just a dominant red zone defense, that usually, I don't know usually means, but I'm gonna guess, I say, and say that the offenses of those teams are probably pretty good as well.
Okay. I respect that, but what was it, kids? I'm sorry about that.
No. It's cool. I was Scrolls was just saying that the bending also keeps your offense off the field, and it got me thinking, like, that is not such a terrible thing. Let your offense get rest, right?
That's very true. The team's just dinking and dunking, and you're going back and forth, and these guys are extending drives. It not only wears your defense out, but
Wait. You all are talking about opposite things.
No, he's talking.
Kedz is talking about. From my understanding, Kedz is talking about if the defense is going, getting 3 and outs, you're putting the offense back on the field, meaning you're going to tire out the offense.
No, the offense ain't getting that many opportunities because the other offense is on the field.
So it's giving your opportunity. It's giving your offense the opportunity to rest while that bend is occurring. So
basically, Kedz is saying, let the defense bend a little bit to give Caleb and the crew chance to catch their breath. Whereas I think I'm saying, hey, if the defense can get 3 and out, and the offense is going on long drives, they might be tired, but okay.
As long as you're getting in the end zone, I don't care.
That's kind of backwards. On an average, which side of the ball on a team do you think plays the most football? Offense or defense?
Probably defense.
Yeah. So the offense necessarily doesn't need that rest.
It's right. And like Red Baron is saying, you want your offense on the field as much as possible.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That means the defense could be fresh as daisies come the fourth quarter, but the offense, is like, please give me some Gatorade, some saline shots or something. Cool. Because then that means that more than likely your team is ahead.
This is So the idea is if the other team's offense is out there matriculating the ball down the field, our defense is bending but not breaking. They stiffen up and clamping up in the red zone. That's good. But it's still leaving your offense is going to get less and less opportunities to, do what they got to do.
Smitty talking like a coach right there. He say you never get tired with the ball.
You don't ever. They don't need a rest. It's the defense that needs a rest.
Because when you look at the stats at the end of the game and you say, all right, offensive lineman ran 32 plays versus a defensive lineman running 32 plays. And it's like, that defensive lineman got his hands on his hips, bent over at the waist after 32 plays. Whereas the offense, they just getting a ladder built up.
Yeah, man. So I think you need that component to be a championship level team, a team that can keep you to 3. If you do get into our territory, you get to our side of the field, we can keep you to 3. You're not getting 6 every time you come down the field. I think that's a championship prerequisite. Do you guys believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Go with that.
And
what is Levante? I want the Bears defense to only allow 20 or 25 points per game, if less great. Yeah, that's not a dominant lockdown defense, but that's a middle of the road, defense right there. Maybe kind of end of the road if you not really 20 points. That's kind of a lot. But if you got an offense that's putting up 30, 35, it's cool.
All right. So far we 2 for 2. I think we all agree on both points so far. I mean, unilaterally. But this next one, I think we'll agree on this one too. And when I say this, understand what I mean now. Strong locker room leadership. Prerequisite for a championship roster.
Yeah, I would go with that. And I would simply say because of one of the prerequisites to get on Ryan Pohl's final draft list One, we know he likes his RAS scores, and the other is his football character. Live, breathe, die, want to be great at football. And, as long as you have those qualities, you're good for his locker room. And those are the type of attitudes and players that he's brought in, as well as the veterans that he signed in free agency and or traded for. Joe Tooney, Grady Jarrett, leaders in their own right, respected by young players without having to be told to, able to keep, your Chauncey Gardners in line. Kevin Byard was able to, mentor Tyreek Stevenson a little bit, so I think, yes, we got that in spades.
Do we? Maybe we do. I think it is an important factor. I think overall you have to have good locker room culture and leadership. I think you named a couple of areas where we do. I do miss Kevin Byard, man. I have to say that in this respect. I think he was a huge proponent of culture and locker room leadership, especially for the secondary. One would like to think that maybe Jalen Johnson, being the older statesman in that secondary, might take up the reins and help help be that leader. Time will tell. We'll see. But I do think it's an important proponent to winning a Super Bowl. You do have to have some level of locker room leadership to help the message from the head coach and the DC, OCDC just resonate throughout the rest of the team.
I think this is probably outside of the amount of talent you accumulate, and I ain't gonna say outside of that. I said right.
It's a part of that, right? Like you have to have that. That's a part.
Right there with the top tier things that you have to have. I think now when I say locker room leadership, first of all, it starts with veterans and coaches. Them two together. The veterans and the coaches. There's a point where the coaches, they're going to bark out instructions on how they expect this program to be run. And this is how it has to be. This is what it looks like. This is what we want, right? That's what the coaches, they lay down the bar. And it's up to them who, pick their leadership in the locker room. You expect them to, and it comes in different ways. Now, I want people to understand it's not always this big, strong bully that can kick everybody's ass in the locker room, even though you probably might need that at some point during the season because you got a bunch of young players that need to be led sometimes, you know what I mean? So you have to have a certain amount of that going on, as well as people that can just really captivate the ears and can really, get to some people. Let's just say, the Bears are having a good season this year, but starting to see a little bit of fracture. Let's just say the ball's not getting distributed well enough and people are starting to complain and you're starting to get a little animus amongst the pack. All right, and you're starting to be like, all right, man, we're going to pull him to the side, man. Now you got to have the leaders that be able to sit him down or those guys down and say, man, look, blah, 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 blah. And that player has to be receptive. So do you have the kind of players that can be led and can be coached? Tripp just spoke to that kind of a little bit. They're looking for guys that have a certain kind of mentality. Guys that, that just love football and they want that kind of, atmosphere. Now, you got that going on. You also have to have guys that can, even the younger guys, they have to plan for their time to lead too. So are they taking the keys that are given to them by some of these veterans? The notes, you got to take some mental notes on how to do this because one day you're going to be that guy. Do you have the kind of guys coming in the locker room that can become that guy? And so when you start talking about can we win one now, that's one thing. Can we sustain that winning and get championships over multiple years? That's determined on what kind of guys you're bringing into the locker room. Can they develop into leaders? So you bringing in, you got veterans in here. You might, if you brought them in, some of the guys you might have had, that's going to change. The guard is going to change. But I do think that's a very important part of being a championship roster. Those veterans, those leaders, everybody's not a leader, number one. I don't care how good he is, how talented he is. Some of them just flat out ain't never going to be a leader. But then you got some of those people that are naturally born to do that. If that's strong, I just tell you this, there's no limit to what they can pull out of each other. You know what I mean? Levels of greatness that can come out of guys if you got the right leadership around you. A guy that might not even think much of himself, but he can play at a high level. But how can you pull that extra juice out of him? The right veteran can do that. That's how important it is. And that's that player, or, you know, that number 20. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head. Making plays when you need to make them.
Number 20 is who?
Nashawn Wright?
No.
Receiver. You're talking the receiver.
Yeah. What's his name?
Oh, Jade.
You know, there's somebody that breathed confidence into him.
Future at number 9.
There was somebody there, whether it was DJ, was somebody, the coach, whoever it was, somebody was breathing confidence into him the whole time. Because the minute he got out there and got a chance to get out there on the field, it looked like he had been out there the whole season, didn't it?
It was Antoine Randall, man. He talked about it a little bit.
It could have been, but it could have been one of the vet receivers. He was somebody's, people don't get, he was somebody's rookie. And I think it was DJ. I think he was DJ's rookie. So DJ, he was assigned to DJ. And so I'm not saying that DJ is the person that was breathing that confidence into him, but by the time he got on the field, it's like he was just one of the guys. He was just like he had been out there. It looked seamless to him. That's them giving him confidence in practice and in the locker room, telling him to stay ready. That kind of shit happens when we can't see. So that, I'm telling you, that locker room leadership part, if that's not right, you have no good functioning team. You just have a team that you can see, you know, sparks here and there. You might see some fireworks here and there, but it will not be consistent because you don't have the right people inside the locker room. I think it might be up at the top of the echelon of important things you have to have for a championship team. That's my opinion. What do y'all think about that?
I like that one, man. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we 3-0. We 3-0, y'all. I think in the chat too. Here's a little bit more nuanced question. Well, not a question, but a statement. This is something I think that has to happen for a championship roster to be. And that is heavy strategic investment in premium positions. And what I think about the premium positions, I think those are the trenches. Offensive line, defensive line, pass rushers. Do you think we've done what we need to do? Do you think we're there?
No.
Okay.
I think we've done a heck of a job on the offensive line. There's still work to do. I think we spent a lot of money and made a lot of investments on the defensive line, and there's still work to do.
Well, let me reel you back right quick, Kedz, before you go into that. Do you think it's a prerequisite for a champion?
Like, I'm gonna have to say, yeah.
Okay.
If you can't rush the passer and or protect the passer on your team, both of those are major malfunctions.
Okay, go ahead. Now keep going, man, because you are getting ready to start explaining why you think we haven't done enough.
Well,
I know where you're going, but go ahead and do it.
I really wasn't going to get deep into that because I do it all the time. But I think the investments made thus far in the defensive line are shaky at best. I could be convinced I'm wrong, and that will happen in season, or it won't. I think, again, the investments on the offensive line are awesome. I like them all. We're still talking about the left tackle position, as we will throughout this season until we have evidence that it's also solved. So that's where we are. We're not sure if we have an interior pass rush. We might, but we're not sure. We're not sure if we can stop the run. We might be able to. We're not sure. Not sure if we can rush the passer from the edge. We're pretty sure on one side, Montez is good, but what happens? See how hard I'm knocking? What happens if he gets hurt? If Montez gets hurt, we're in a bad way, y'all. Like, I'm just putting that out there. We're in a bad way. So I don't think we quite have, and this is not taking anything away from Austin Booker. I expect him to take off this year just because he has no other choice, like straight up and down. He needs to. He's been given the brass ring to take, and I think he'll take it. And I think he'll do real well with it. We only got to see a piece of him last season, and what we did get to see, I think everyone was pretty pleased with. So that being said, I think Austin will step up in some capacity. I've started to lean on a little bit to the center because like that interior, because I don't know. I'm worried about Javon. I'm worried about Grady's health. I'm not sure.
I got it. Can I hold on before you go? I gotta get this one off. Levante good, damn good one. And this is dead ass on point. Levante says rushing the passer is multifaceted and not what we always think it is. And I always trying to say that all the time. Levante is dead ass right.
You're both right.
What we think about pass rush comes from, my brain knows this. Somebody else's brain knows that. And what they think of from a pass rusher, typically they thinking of an edge rusher.
Yeah.
And so that's what he's trying to say here. It comes multiple ways. It's simulated pass rush. That's important in this day and age, in this game. It's not anything new. The Bears in the 85 championship, that was simulated pass rushes pretty much 80% of the time. But it's a pass rush. And so, it wasn't always Dent. It wasn't always, the guy that you would expect to be getting all the sacks. It's coming from multiple different places. And so pass rushers, offensive line, defensive linemen, are they a prerequisite to have a championship team? And what I'm hearing from Kedz is saying we don't have the depth yet. At least I think that's what
I'm gonna layer on just a little bit deeper before Trip grabs it. And the other aspect of this is Kyler Gordon, right? Like I think we'd all be pleased if Kyler Gordon was healthy and on the field and rocking and rolling because you can blitz Kyler whenever you want. Kyler fast. Kyler gets the job done. He's a heat-seeking missile no matter what direction you're pointing him in. But he's also not 100% going into this season. Going into training camp, damn it.
Hey, kid, keep it going for a second. I got to pop out right quick.
Sure. There's a bunch of question marks regarding that pass rush that interests me, that need answering. And again, on the offensive line, we got a little work to do on that left, but I also think that one's going to be solved. So we'll see. Trip.
Trenches, necessary. Both sides of the ball, yes. Excuse me. And as far as has Ryan Poles invested enough in the trenches, offensive line wise, I would say yes, but Dahlman's, sudden retirement, okay, now we got to, trade for an asset, a veteran asset in Bradbury who knows what he's doing, as well as now invest, a second round pick in a
draft capital
center, the future draft capital. Hopefully, I'm hoping that he can, just win the job, in camp. And then you look at left tackle and it's like, oh, we give all the praise to this 5th round left tackle. Fine, cool. And it's like, well, we know we need an upgrade. So let's go ahead and spend a second. It wasn't Ozzy's second round, draft pick. And then it's like, all right, but he gets hurt. So it's like the expenditures have been there, but the results have not. And then the defensive line, Pickens and Dexter were second, 3rd round picks, what have you. You would expect more from them. And while Dexter has been okay, we're in year 3, year 4, and he's still talking about, well, yeah, I'm gonna get this get off thing one day. And the amount of contracts that have not seen fruit or bared fruit in Dio and Jarrett, the beginning of the year, because of injury, shit happens. And then, Shamar Turner, another, higher draft capital expenditure that got hurt. So it's like that Poles has been attempting to throw resources. It's just none of them have really panned out the way we want to, as far as the draft capital that has been spent.
Draft capital and regular capital. I can't.
Yeah,
and that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't fault Ryan Poles for spending that. He spent the money. Ron, like I gotta shut up and just give Ron some love. Just give me a second. Give me a second here. Let me give Ron a little bit of love if I can find the media. I never know what this shit is. This is Nomad's.
Oh, shout out to Ron. I see that.
Yeah,
man.
give him a little bit of love, man. I'm trying to find the link, man. I don't know where it's at.
What happened?
Ron just renewed his membership. He needs a little bit of love.
Oh, wait a minute. You trying to get the hold on. I know what you're looking for.
You should.
That's for super chats, but we'll do it for him just because we love him.
Yeah, you gotta give him a little bit of love.
Yeah, it's not a super chat though.
Big ups to Ron, and big ups to you again, Ron, for linking up the new job. If that's legit, I wish I could quit my job for a job that pays me twice as much too. That's always on the docket. But
all right. So I think we somewhat agree. And I don't know what did Tripp say about the.
He basically said the same damn thing. I'm saying, like he neither one of us can fault Ryan Poles for the investment on either sides of the trenches. It's really a question of results. Are the results there at this present moment? Not exactly. And again, we're gonna need some. We're gonna need to get into the season to really see, what the reality is. Right? Like that's kind of where we are.
Yes, I do think it's a prerequisite for championship teams that spending that money in the trenches or spending that capital you have in the trenches. And sometimes it's money and sometimes it's draft picks and end up being money later on. And some of that has to be spoken to in this way. Do you pay the right people? And that's part of the investment. Do you pay the guy that you drafted and you brought in here and you built to this certain level? Or do you get rid of them too early because you think it's a little bit too much out of your means? The right teams will pay the right guys at the right time and keep that continuity together and let them continue to grow here. So that's part of it. And yes, I do believe 110%. If you don't do that part right, you don't have a championship roster.
Well, but then also you got to remember that the time it takes. Now, if we look at the possible plan with this defensive line, it's like, all right, if they don't produce, now next season the cap hits aren't so bad, to get out from under a Dale, a Jared, or whoever. But also remember, say, okay, cool, we can revamp the defensive line, but now Joe Tooney's another year older. And so now it's like, oh shit. Now we still got a question mark right now at left tackle. And now it's like, all right, well, we're gonna address the defensive line. Now we gotta make sure we got left guard good. So things progress year after year after year. So it's like, well, we can wait until the 2027 season for this, but it's like, well, now you're another year older, all across the board.
So well said. Let me give a little bit more love to Ron, because Ron gifted 5 memberships to the No Maniacs here, man. So one more time, big up to Ron Winowski. Shout out to you, man. Mad love. And for those of you who received the gift, give Ron some love in the chat as well, man. That's well deserved.
Amen to that. But certainly, I think undoubtedly, when you begin to build a championship roster, you better be like laser focused on those 2 areas right there, offense and defensive line. If the plan doesn't start from inside and go out, you're starting ass backwards, in my opinion. Just the way I see football, because without that, nothing really happens and nothing is consistent unless that's consistent.
And here we are, right? I think again, I think he's attempted to make these investments So I do give Ryan Poles a big thumbs up in that regard. And I mean, it goes to Nate Davis, it goes to Ryan. What was the homie with the busted thumb? How's his name? Anyways, the center.
Oh, Bates.
Bates, right? There's a lot of talent that he sort of attempted to bring in to address this offensive line as well as the defensive line too. So has all that talent shown or proved their value? I can't say 100% yeah, but I think the opportunity in 2027, if what we see on the field today doesn't pan out in 2026, is massive. There's a massive opportunity to really retrofit this line all over again as far as the defense is concerned. As far as the offense is concerned, you're right, Trip, and you identified a very interesting area. You do at some point have a Pro Bowl guard who's going to want to hang it up at some point. So you have to prepare yourself for that as well.
I'll tell you what, this is going to be. Now, I won't, before I even say it, just think both sides of the ball when I say this. Got to have playmakers and scheme balance. Good championship team have that. Do you agree with that or disagree with
playmakers and what?
Scheme balance. You want me to explain that a little more?
Yeah.
So on both sides of the ball, like on the offensive side of the ball in particular, you know what balance is. It's a balance between running the ball and throwing the ball. I think that's a prerequisite. So if you're a team that's deadly just smoking people in the air, they don't really respect your run game. If you got teams that's constantly just handing the ball off to a running back and not throwing the ball much, they don't respect your passing game. And the balance comes, and the deadlier teams have that to that's a component that comes built in. You got to respect every blade of grass, every positional player that can put the ball in their hands. You got to respect it all. And so, yeah, that's a prerequisite on both sides of the ball, even on the defensive side of the ball. Got to have playmakers over there and scheme balance. Why do I say scheme balance? Because you don't want to be too heavy this, too heavy that. You don't want to be a team that's not, utilizing your really talented players and putting them in positions to make plays on the ball. So that balance means you have to have a coach that's not on the defensive side of the ball, not stuck in the mud, and just not giving these guys a chance to make plays, if that makes any sense, on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, offensively, we got a Ben Johnson who, was really looking forward to working with new running backs coach Eric Studsville about the running game, because Studsville was instrumental in implementing the Dolphins running game down there when he was with Miami. So knowing the ins and outs of the running game now makes the passing game more lethal, and vice versa. So, you got to have one before you can have the other. They have to work hand in hand. So when teams do say, well, you're going to have to throw it to stop, it's just like, all right, cool. And it's like, oh shit, they're killing us in the air. You got to run it we're going to have to make them run it and say, all right, cool. We have, a more of a, not a scat back, but a more of a fleet of foot and swift, where you got a more of a, I just want to hit somebody and run you over in Menengai. And then, as Ryan Poles said many years ago, talking about specifically wide receivers and their different sizes and builds and makeups, it seems like now the wide receiver room that he's put together kind of resembles what he was talking about a few years back when we were dealing with, the Pettises and the EQ St. Browns of the world. So now we got a couple 6'3", 6'4" guys, a couple 5'8", 5'10" guys, and everything in between that can, run all the different positions. And defensively, it's still a work in progress. It's it's a changeover. The offense has had a head start on the personnel for the offense for Ben Johnson, whereas we're just kind of getting into the Dennis Allen grocery list, and we still really haven't fulfilled it. So that's still a work in progress in this iteration of the team.
All right.
I'll let you guys roll on this one. I don't have I get the offensive side of this from a scheme perspective. Scheme balance between the two is something I kind of would like to see. I'm not sure how this defense puts that down, and I can't put it squarely on Dennis Allen here. I think Dennis Allen's expertise is more in the secondary. I think our secondary is going to be strong, but that leads me to worry about the obvious thing, and like a powerhouse team running a football against us might make for a challenging Sunday.
What I think a better way of looking at it defensively, this would be easier to the parts and the sum they all need to come together. Everybody needs to be able to feed off of one another. So somebody else's strength, somebody else needs to be able to feed off of. You know what I'm saying? So if we have a strong edge rusher or let's just say we have a strong 3 technique, somebody that's really getting off the ball and really getting back there and denting the pocket and making havoc back there. The person behind him, the linebacker, needs to be able to clean that shit up real fast. They need to complement each other. That's what I'm trying to get at. Compliments. Everything needs to fit. Everything needs to fit the way it's supposed to. And that's what I'm talking about by balance. You're not scared to call anything on the goddamn play sheet when you got that going on. Anything on the play sheet works. Anything.
Well, like I say, offensively, I think we have balance in spades, man. There isn't really an area offensively that I can say that we have a shortfall, except for, again, potentially at left tackle. And that's not, you ain't really calling plays with left tackle in mind other than additional protection over there. It's really the defense and how.
No, kids, I'm gonna argue with you here because the offense wasn't perfect and the symmetry ain't perfect yet.
Wasn't perfect?
No. The symmetry wasn't always there.
I agree with you.
You didn't see it even when they were rolling good.
I think it's closer to perfect
now,
yeah, given the new personnel.
It is. And I think they're still trying to find the right balance.
I don't know. I think they have the right. I think they have the right things with respect to the running back room. They could use one more, they could use one more talent, maybe.
So here's the thing, though, kids. Remember last year, to Nomad's point, how many times it was like, fuck Durham Smythe. Can you make a block? Give a brother in the pocket a chance. It's like, oh, come on, y'all. What are y'all doing? Somebody missed a responsibility. So the maturation of everybody within the offense working together, pulling the same direction, after, a year together. And so now as, more pieces like a Xavier Thomas comes in, now, Colston can help him out. Luther can help him out. Rome can help him out because they have the experience. So as the pieces are more not detailed pieces, but more of players that are specialized, that Ben Johnson can work with, will also enhance the offense. So there's a lot going into it to help it grow, but it's so far all being added.
But that's where I am. I think they added the specialty that they didn't really have access to last year in multiple areas. Obviously, just an outright speedster is one of those areas. Having a you identified Durham Smythe, and hopefully Sam Roush is potentially an upgrade in that regard. A, in the blocking arena, but B, can actually be utilized as a receiving talent and or ball running talent. Like he can do both.
And all that symmetry needs to be developed. If Caleb and Ben are about at 35-40% capacity with each other in symmetry, then the offense can't be as balanced as we want to believe it is. It's not. They got more people to distribute the ball to in a second-year offense with a quarterback in the second year in the system. Tripp is right. It's going to take a little more time. I mean, it looked good in a nice run there. But now with these added pieces, and we're gonna see. We're gonna see. And I think if they put the work in like I think they will, I think all this conversation is for naught. They will just grow.
So you're at wait and see on the offense. That's interesting.
They gotta. I mean, I'm telling you, when I say we got weapons galore, and anybody on that, there's six guys that can hurt you. There's 5 offensive linemen, and the other 6 can hurt you. Every last one of them, including the quarterback. That's hard for a defense to assemble and game plan for. Hard. Trust me when I tell you, when every last one of them are live and you don't know what formation you're going to get, that's extremely hard. When the tight ends are live, when the running backs are live, when you can put in 12, 13 personnel and the quarterback can just take the ball and just run with it, that's hard to defend, bro. But now it's about them, all those weapons, and them getting symmetry together. It's amount of reps you get together. How much time on task do you have together? That's what brings the symmetry. And so it's great on paper. Now it's got to be put into action, and the symmetry just needs to happen naturally. That's why.
No. I can't argue with that, and that's all the more reason that I've penciled in the year 2027. But I do expect to see. I think we're going to see an explosion that we're not quite ready for.
Explosion.
I do think we're going to be explosive, but I don't expect it to be like we coming right out of the gate. Like there's going to be some. It's going to be some hiccups, bro. Trust me when I tell you. Before that thing starts to really, really churn.
Right. Grizz, Oz left a ton of plays on the field.
Part of that I'm giving to Caleb, though.
That was because he just dropped the ball several times. But if Khalif Raymond, does pick up those yards, those passes, as he mentors Xavion in the slot. That's an upgrade. We've already mentioned hopefully Sam Roush is an upgrade. So there are upgrades that have happened with this offense as well as a maturity level. So, yeah, let's go.
Yeah. We just leave that there, man. The next thing, you guys, I'm going to see what you guys think about it. Now, when I say this, I want you to understand I'm talking about from the GM on down. Cohesive leadership from the GM on down to the players. That means everybody in between, whether it be, the people that's running and washing the uniform, the people that's running the water on the field during practice. I'm talking about GM, coaches, message from the coaches down to the players, and the players' leadership down to everybody else. There has to be cohesion there. Has to be in order for this thing to work. I'm talking about from the GM. They have to have the right vision, and they have to have the same vision. The coaches, and the GM have to have the same vision. They got to be cohesive there. They take that vision, coaches, and they explain it between each other. This is what we're going to tell the players. We're going to develop our leadership, pick them out, and they take that message on down to the rest of the players. That's got to happen in order for this to be a championship team. You can't have people all over the place and this ain't what it's supposed to be. Oh, I heard this, I heard that. No, everybody needs to be singing the same note. Same goddamn Stevie Wonder song. Sing it. And it sounds
Isn't she sorry.
Everybody needs to be sounding the same when they sing it too. Believe that or not. So you think that's a prerequisite or not, kids?
Yeah, I think so, because you have to be pulling in the same direction, to get to the ultimate goal. And it seems as though Hallis Hall, from top all the way down to, the maintenance staff and head janitor Cream and them, they all doing their thing. And it it seems as though that from this past season to now, the only shortcoming, from outside looking in would be the damn training staff. And I'm not blaming them for the injuries to players, but on more than 3 occasions, I believe, players returning from injury, pregame, warming up, hey, can you go? And they re-injured themselves in the pregame or out like several more weeks. And it's like, who's making these decisions that it's like, yeah, I think you should give it a go, kid. Or we should keep them out another week so we don't lose them for another 4 weeks. That happened with Rome, wasn't it CJ and Kyler Gordon? I think somebody else, but don't quote me. So it's like the whole training staff, and you could see Ben Johnson's frustration when it's like, yeah, they were going pregame, then they couldn't go. I don't know, lowest common denominator kind of thing. So I think that's an area that this offseason they might be looking at interior of Hallis Hall.
Something I think might be a fun fact.
What?
No trainer has the ability to rule a player out. That's the coach's decision. They can take the advice of the trainer and the player, the coach and the player. They can come together and say, all right, I'm hurting. Can you play? Yeah. You're gonna still be hurting, but I need you out there. The trainer can give them advice. I don't think he's ready.
That explains most of DJ Moore's season last year. Yeah, it's funny that you bring this up because like I had to rack my brain a little bit to think of an example that like where a team went deep in any capacity and didn't have their ducks in a row, for lack of a better thing to say. And I'm just going to say that I couldn't really think of any per se. I couldn't, not to say that they don't exist. But what I can say is this team has not had its ducks in a row for decades. And the one time we finally do, like the Ducks are like, they're in a row right now. They are.
Shucky ducky, quack quack.
Shucky ducky, quack quack. They're in a row. So, yeah, I think it definitely minimizes potential distractions, right? Like all the BS. Oh snap! My GM drafted a quarterback I didn't even know. What do you mean you didn't know John Fox? You know what I mean? Like you didn't talk to him about this? No. Oh shoot, you're probably not gonna have this job for much longer. Well, I'm just gonna coast through the next year because I'm probably not gonna have a job for much longer. What happens to the new quarterback? I don't care.
Not my problem.
You know what I mean? He got no development, got sacked a bunch of times. Where did you draft him? 2nd overall? Stupid.
Huh. Like, you go, huh?
Also, I thought something else that happens every year with a team that kind of goes unnoticed, but not unnoticed inside the locker room, is no matter what, even if we're having a successful season, there's always the noise, the outside noise of this coach could be getting going here, or this coach could be going there. And even though you're seeing those stories on the outside, inside the building, they know whether or not this coach is kind of concentrating on that, or whether he's checked out or still embedded with them, and he's, that's real inside of a locker room. Really? It happens in college. It happens in the pros. I've experienced that.
Just imagine what I just described, and the team environment and John Fox's train of thought. After that draft, he must have went home and went, huh? Like the exact sound that Tripp just made is a sound that he must have. You know what? Like, I'm probably gonna get fired in about 3 months. So what do I really care about this season? Really?
Who got the best donuts around this place?
What about the flip side? What about the flip side of that, kids? What about
We'll
the
get
flip
some
side
good
of that?
Chicago pizza, like while I'm here, because
Think about the flip side of it. Think about the guys that
in the locker room
ain't gonna get fired, but he's getting lured away by these interviews, and let's just say we're in a playoff run, and he has an opportunity to take them interviews, and the coach can refuse those teams to have the interview with him or to talk to him. But then that's going to be a slap in that coach's face, and just like, hey, why are you holding me back? You got the delicate balance of that. And if he decides, okay, I'm going to take that interview, or no, I'm not going to take that interview because I'm focused on what our goal is and we finna get this shit. That kind of balance, that kind of symmetry. Are we on the same page? You get what I'm saying?
I do, and I'll give you both sides of this. The John Fox side is I'm gonna take the interview because I have to, and I'm just gonna BS coach speak my way through, or word salad my way through this, because I don't give a shit. My give a shit ended when the GM went over my head and drafted a kid that I have absolutely no interest in or wasn't even told about. So what's the question for me? Yeah, well, we'll get to it and we'll do it. And coach speak, insert here while, you know what I mean? Then you flip it over to the kid to get drafted. Well, I'm coming in with big expectations on my shoulders. What do? I don't know. I don't have any direction of any kind. Oh, you're going to throw me in because the guy with the long neck, the redheaded guy ain't good? Okay, I'll play football, except what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, just the worst type of situation because the top down, because the Ducks were all over the river. You know what I'm saying? Like, the Ducks were clearly not in a row.
Well, you mean like for the last several seasons, the Justin Fields offensive coordinator carousel, the Getzes and the Waldrons, and then Floosey Goosey with his beekeeping and shit. And then you get Ben Johnson is like, I want to be great. I want players that want to be great.
Well, let me reframe.
I'm all about the ball.
Let me reframe it for you fellas. And let's get back to the premise of the question. And do you think cohesive leadership is a prerequisite? Not only that, let me just break it down and simplify it this way. If all of us were coach, GM, defensive coordinator, whoever's who, and we're having that meeting before we even get players in the building, we're developing our plan. Do you think that's an important part of the conversation before we even get started? I personally think that's very important, because when we get to that point, if teams start to try to pull at some of these coaches and pulling at our threads, this is our plan for that. Do y'all think that's important?
It's so important that it's not even necessarily the coach. Like, part of why it's important is the GM, because we just sort of looked at the coach on the hot seat case scenario with the young draftee, but there's also the GM on the hot seat, which happens almost at least in Chicago, it happens almost as frequently as the coach being on the hot seat. A lot of the times the GM winds up going right out the door, right alongside the coach. You don't really know
when that's going to happen, though, kids. You kind of can feel when the coaches might start getting pulled in one way or the other. The GM,
but I think the cohesiveness is everybody doing their job. And let me explain that real quick. You go in Hallis Hall. As a player, you want to know that when you park your car, it's going to be safe, that there are going to be no scratches, no nothing. So the security has to make sure that only the allowed personnel or people are on the property. You want to make sure your catering and cafeteria staff has the best ingredients and they know their players. It's like, hey, he likes his greens, he likes his fruits. You want your management staff, whoever's doing the laundry, to make sure it's like, hey, this kid's allergic to, these dryer sheets. So we want to make sure our star, kicker, his socks don't give him like trench foot or nothing. You want your training staff to know it's like, all right, this kid gets his ankles taped this way. And, he has flat feet, so we got to take better care that way. So as long as everybody can pay attention to the detail of what their responsibilities are and execute those, now you have a team as a team. You don't have a bunch of guys talking about, man, this training staff sucks. Man, hey man, can you redo my ankles? Because that dude sucks. Or it's like, man, I'm still hungry because lunch sucked today because the Miss Lady back there don't know what the fuck she doing. So as long as everybody in the building's doing their job to the best of their abilities, I think that contributes to winning on the field.
See, you're right there where I was with the GM is just you don't want either the GM or the coaching staff acting in desperation to save their jobs. And that's not where we are in any capacity right now. Poles has been extended. He's trying to build a championship roster, and we know that. Ben just got here. He's trying to make his impression felt, and he has last season and wants to continue to do so this season. So again, we've got line of sight and a connection here that is extremely important. If Poles felt that he was somehow on his way out, desperation moves would have taken place in this draft. He would have done completely different shit. I'll tell you that right now. But he doesn't feel that way. So he did what the coach required. We are all in lockstep as far as all that is concerned. I think Ben is super happy with what happened this draft. I don't know if Dennis Allen is super happy, but that's a whole other story.
Well, yeah, I think we do agree that that cohesiveness from the very beginning, that means the minute these guys get together and it starts there and it trickles all the way down to the leadership and the players on the field, it has to be in line with each other. There's no parts that can be bigger than the whole. None.
You know what? Because we're here, shout out to you again, Jay Grizz. You're awesome, man. So Jay Grizz just
he's not lying though.
No, he's not. He happenstancically brought up.
I'm tired of listening to the shit.
I think, and this is where I'm going.
Let's read it.
But all right. So Jay Grizz says, hell, I'm sure Ben Johnson doesn't want to be hearing the stadium noise once the regular season begins and has his eyes on Kevin Warren. Just saying. And I'm in full agreement with this shit, especially right now. Really, I get it. It's a thing. It exists. It's a whole Illinois thing / Indiana thing. Long story short, and I'm in Canada.
This is terrible timing. That's all.
I give zero fucks about this, especially if it has any ramifications on the regular season.
If you were here and you could feel the energy shift. I don't know that we.
Is it really like that with the stadium?
I don't know. I don't know if I've seen an offseason with the Bears fan base this giddy.
Oh, okay.
And I don't. It's been a long time since I've seen this fan base.
You scared me for a second,
and
man.
Then to have this shit drop on us like a ton of freaking cow shit. It was terrible, man. I just watched the fan base go from. Everybody's on the same page, happy, giddy, and you don't have all these stupid arguments and fights until all of a sudden it's back to divisiveness again.
So I've got two things to say. So I'm really glad that you're saying that the city is feeling it, and that's what I want to hear. I kind of want to hear that being external. The two things I have to say first of all is it starts with Kevin Warren. Kevin Warren, you fucked up. You need to
gotta make some shorts now.
Hey, Kevin, you got some work to do, but you need to quell the noise. You need to keep the noise down over the course of the next at least 3 months. Just keep it quiet. Do your work, do your job the way you're going to do it. But I like announcements and all that. Shh, just keep that quiet, because in no way do you want to negatively affect this season especially with inaction and especially with backwards politics, right?
Well, but here's the thing now. What is this game? It's a business. And when does business take place? During business hours, whenever those may be. Now, it was like, well, damn it, we couldn't enjoy the playoff Packer win because damn it, Kevin Warren took the spotlight talking about the damn stadium. Oh, we couldn't enjoy the Madden release cover because damn it, Kevin White took the media about the stadium.
Wrong Kevin, but I'm with.
And it's like, well, we're gonna ask the players, what do you think about Indiana? And the players are, can't say it, but they're like, look, I might not even be on this team by the time the stadium's built, wherever the hell it's built. I don't know. Beyond my pay grade. I'm trying to work on this route or on this tackle and dummy or this catching, whatever they're doing. So whatever the question is, it's always going to be a distraction, no matter when it happens.
That's what I'm saying.
And so it's like it's two different things. There's the football, what Ben Johnson and them are doing, on the field. Then there's Kevin Warren, what he's doing in the business thing. Ain't nothing got to do with nothing, and it's just the fans want to conflate the two, whereas the coach and the players are just like, look, if we play in Indiana, the taxes are cheaper. That's all I know.
I'm like Ben Johnson, man. I'm all football. I'm all freaking football. Excuse my language. I
got to make clips with this thing, man. What the hell?
I do. I know. I slipped. And it's unfortunate, man. It's very, very unfortunate how that happened, and why it happened is irrelevant. It's the timing, and I think Ben Johnson's his silence it speaks volumes to me. He hasn't said a word about it, and I know
he cares.
He doesn't give a rat's ass about any of that.
He's hearing about it, and he's just like, I wish this just get over with.
This is my point. If Kevin Warren, if ain't nothing really popping, just keep it quiet. You know what I mean? And I'm not telling you to shut up. I'm just saying, for the sake of creating a distraction, don't do it. Dodge it like the plague. Get your stuff done, and then make a big announcement when a big announcement should be made. If we get to Christmas, halftime at the Christmas game, by all means, drop something around then or something like that. But for the next few months, hush, quiet is kept. Keep it under wraps. Work behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Like
there's none of that's going to be able to happen now because it's too hot button of an issue.
Yeah, behind the scenes is the
and that leads me to the second thing I wanted to say is, hey, media, leave the stadium thing alone if you can.
Why are
you asking players
a little bit? The only reason that they're not
they can't wait till the next story.
The only reason there's only one reason why they're not.
That's why it is. Because that's how they make their money. They find the head.
That's not why, but that's a good reason to talk. The real reason is
we're blaming Kevin Warren for the distraction. Is like, hey, media, why don't y'all stop asking the damn questions?
That's why I said it was a two-part thing, right? So like Kevin got to keep it quiet. Media, you have to do the same thing. The flip side here is, I get why you're doing it. Nomad says it's because you want to make money, and that's a good reason. But the real reason is, they ain't really nothing to talk about.
Bruh, this is Chicago. Don't nothing stay quiet here.
I know, because the media is the greatest thing in Chicago, and that's why y'all the Windy City. And wind isn't about what's happening in the sky. It's loud. About you know what I'm saying. It's about the wind that comes out of your face. So keep it low if you want. If you want a championship, if you want to be in a big dance, shut the fuck up.
So I think Illinois is doing the right thing. Chicago is doing the right thing now. I think behind this, I think the two sides got together. And from what I'm hearing, and just to get out of this subject, I hate to talk about it.
Me too.
There was a regrouping of the whole situation after that last card was played with Indiana. There was a regrouping. And from what I hear, the governor and the people that are involved, whether on either side of the aisle, they're all saying they like how it's going because it's going quietly behind the scenes, as quiet as it can be, But if we're hearing about it, that means somebody's making an effort to keep this thing behind closed doors as best they can, and not making broad statements and getting out there. That was ridiculous, man. And I'm just gonna leave that alone, man. We're gonna get to this last point, man, because I can go on for a minute about that.
Well, but here's the thing,
stop this, man, because you're gonna make it worse. Stop. I already know what you're gonna do. Go ahead, man. F it, man. Go ahead.
Well, but we say, behind the scenes, the Bears are trying to write the legislation themselves, and we'll present it, and then we'll, have the special session. And it's like, okay, behind the scenes, blah, blah, blah. Whereas, in Indiana, they have pictures of survey equipment, on site, and the sites that the Bears are looking at that are actually doing physical testing that costs money to do. That's happening like right now. So,
Whoops.
All right. Yeah, all right. Stop, because I know it's going to go on and on. So we're going to have to. All right. Just to put a cap on that conversation. This is last, but not least at all. When I say this, not least, you're going to understand this when I get through saying it. Because you guys probably get tired of hearing me saying I've said it every year, anytime we get to this part, the important part of the season. And I want to say it. Prerequisite for a championship team: peak timing and resilience. What do I mean by that? I mean being healthy. I mean playing well late in the season. Prerequisite for a championship team, yay or nay?
oh
Man.
yeah.
You nailed that, right? Because that same New York Giants team we were talking about a minute ago, maybe it was a couple more than a minute, but you know what I'm saying, that Eli Manning team, big part of the reason why they went to the Super Bowl that season is because everybody throughout the early part of that season was hurt. Whole team was hurt. And then suddenly they all came back and everybody else was hurt. All the other teams were dealing with injury. So they had all these fresh, talented bodies back on the field, and they just ran ruckshod for a bunch of weeks towards the end of the season, including the playoffs. And that really fueled them and pushed them as far as they went that year. Stuff like that doesn't happen all the time, but when it does happen, it's exactly what you're saying. It's timing, it's resilience. So, big ups to Kyler Gordon. You know what I mean? Like if you're going through some stuff, I want to see you healthy on the field, as does every Bears fan out there, as does your head coach. So, if you got to work through some stuff to get to where you need to get to, let's get you on the field and get you on the field healthy, man. So again, maybe that is a boon, it's a boost to our success in 2026. And that goes to Ozzie Trapillo and many other players who have been sort of battling through injury, TJ Edwards, etc., Grady Jarrett, Dayo Dangbo. Maybe all of this is to say that finally when we get healthy versions of these particular, Shamar Turner, finally when we get healthy versions of all these players on the field, it might be a boost to the Chicago Bears.
Resilience is good because, we want, your top line players to come back from injury. We don't want to rush it back, to my point earlier, but resilience also means, the next man up needs to be able to carry his weight, and earn that roster spot to, say, hey, if I need to fill in, cool. Teabag, Tyson Bagent, he's made several $1 million as a backup quarterback, and we hope that we don't see him play. That's weird. It's like we know he's on the team and we like him on the team. He's getting, nice paycheck, but we don't want to see him play because he's the backup quarterback, and we like our starting quarterback. So the resilience of his attitude, knowing that he wants to play, but he's, taking the position of being the backup because of whatever his reasons are. So the resilience goes beyond the physical. It's mental as well. And so everybody has their own role to play, whether it be, a bench guy, whether it be a practice squad guy, just to, fill in a game or two here or there if necessary. So yeah, resilience from top to bottom in the organization is a very key component of being, a championship franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah, straight.
Peak timing. I know y'all probably got tired of me saying that I pay hardly any attention to the very beginning of the season. I pay attention. I love the team to get off to that hot start. I keep trying to tell Don that. I'm like, y'all get off every year to that hot start. Y'all just running cats out of the building. Next thing you know, the middle of the season, towards the end of the season, y'all hurt. Y'all been going so hard. And, you know, the way Dan Campbell coaches the team doesn't seem like there's a proper balance of, okay, dog, we've been going hard. I've been playing this guy hard, this linebacker, this safety. He's been banging. We need to get him some rest. You know, we need to get him ready for the post. Don't seem to be a plan for that. And I think if there was, I think Detroit would probably have 2 rings by now. But because I think their coach has an old school mentality that just runs them until they just grind them into the ground, and they always wear out by the time the end of the season comes, to their detriment. Every effing year. I've seen that for 4 years straight, at least. They just wear out at the end of the season. I love to see our enemies do that. Because I know that it's a certain amount of, man, you gotta. I covet the teams that are playing well somewhere in that 10th, 12th to 13th week. Give me 3 straight games or something at a minimum. Give me 3 straight games where you're putting it together going into the playoffs, and I think we got a real good chance. I think those are the winning formulas right there. And some of that is luck. You just get healthy at the right time.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Guys coming back at the right time because they beat up. You know, there's a certain amount of that goes on. So there's a certain amount of luck that goes on. There's also a certain amount of planning that goes into that as well. Talking about the depth, making sure that guys get enough reps. You ain't putting too many reps on guys when they don't really need it. You know what I mean? Some of that stuff is a plan. Some of that stuff is just you flat out stupid and you don't know how to manage your team. I'd say that about Dan Campbell, even though I love the way they play. It's too physical all season long, and they wear down at the end of the season. They do every year. So I think that might be, if there was one thing that can override everything that we were talking about, it's that. Peak timing and resilience going into the playoffs.
That one there is a bit harder to control. So got a little bit of luck involved in that one. You know what I mean?
A little bit.
What can you do about that one? So we'll see how that pans out.
All right. Any of those points that we made tonight that you guys disagree with, if they are, let me know and we can talk about it. Because to me, that's the way I see championship formula.
No, I can't argue with any one of those points as general statements. Do we have every single one of those points in spades? I don't know. I don't think so, but not up to me to think so. I can't wait to see whether we do or don't. That's what the excitement of this 2026 season really comes down to.
About you, Trip?
Yeah, it's a lot of wish casting, forecasting, speculation. You know, now we get into the dog eat dog time of the summer where it's like, you know what? I don't know how good this team is, but I think they're going to be good. And it's like, why do you say that? Because I do. And damn near every fan base, is at or getting to this point, unless your team sucks, looking at you kiddies. Mm-hmm. But it's to be determined, to be seen, because we have a lot of question marks, and the answers that are supposedly the answers to those questions are question marks.
Right now, you're right. Yeah, man.
The point of the whole conversation today, and why I wanted to break this down on the show, is so that we can have a introspective conversation about it, about what we've done so far leading into this season. Do we have enough, and do we do the right things? And it's not about so much about what you did, it's how you did it. You know what I mean? Both of those things are married together. Both of them. And did we do the right things? Do we go about this thing the right way? Those are that's championship DNA right there. What we just talking about tonight.
All of those things are super valid in in the grand scope of the 2026 Chicago Bears. I think this was an interesting discussion across the board. I do have to sort of say that again. In my opinion, I think everything leads us to 2027. We could sneak.
I'm gonna fuss with you all. I'm gonna fuss.
We could sneak up. We could sneak up into the Super Bowl and win this season too. Don't get me wrong. Just as many.
Feels like a cop out to me.
No, and as a player, as a former player, you would definitely say that. And I'm not saying that this season is doomed, right? Like I'm not saying anything like that. What I am saying is that a lot of learning is going to come from this season with the potential correction in 2027. That's all I'm saying. Whether that learning leads us right to the Super Bowl, corrections will be in place in 2027 regardless.
You know what a year in time in your body is, right? You know what a year from now will be with your body. You know what the year before was like for your body and you. That's one thing. What's a year for a football player? How much time do you think to your like dog years, kind of, right?
Mm-hmm. That's a good way of looking at it, yeah.
And so every time I hear you say, let's just wait to 2027, that's what I think.
Oh, no. Don't. So
doubt.
That's what I haven't said. I'm not saying let's wait till 2027. I'm saying that 2027 is the year that everything lines up perfectly, with the slight exception of the one thing that Trip kind of alluded to earlier on. But I mean, he'll still be on the team, right? And that is just Joe Thuney getting 1 year older, right? Outside of that, they can do everything that they need to do with the roster if 2026 shows them that there are gaps within the existing structure of the roster. They can do whatever they need to do. They're not really bound to anything. They're not beholden to anything. They're somewhere in and around, let's just call it $120 million available for them to shift and move around. I'm going to say it's probably more than that. In any event, they can really do whatever they want to make this team that much better than it is at this present moment.
Kids, they have to make this year the year. They don't have the time to waste. They don't have the.
From a player perspective, you're right.
They don't have the leeway or the luxury of saying, this one is just for.
No player does. This
one is just for the books. We're gonna really put our foot on the gas in 2027. No way.
No player does.
There's no way nobody in that building is thinking that.
If I'm Ryan Poles, I might be.
No. Nope. He wouldn't be the GM. Not on this team, he wouldn't be. Because if you think in 2027, you're gonna start moving like you're waiting for 2027.
I think he did.
I don't think he did, man. I think he's doing according to what Ben and Dennis is saying. Like, man, we think we can do something with this crop. And I think that's why this part of the season is now we have podcasts and so many people have a point of view. We hear everybody's point of view so much that we think that's valid because we hear their point of view so much, but ain't nothing important at all going on the outside of that building, including myself, my conversation, and everybody else. It's not important. All we can do is bring you a perspective that we think. Now, inside that building, they are locked in and looking for a Lombardi.
They should be
that. And they're not 2027. We'll worry about that when we get there. GMs have to plan for that kind of eventuality on books, on when it comes to accounting and when it comes to, okay, do we jump and make this move right here and be stuck with that into 2028, 2030 or something like that? There's certain decisions that have to be made there, but that needs to stay in that office with those people until if it gets to the coach, that means it's something the coach requested. Outside of that, there should be a door in between those two entities right now. And I'm on this show, I'm trying to be the door.
And there's nothing wrong with that, right? And like I'm saying, what you're saying is super valid, because if I'm Dio Dangle, all there is 2026. If I'm Grady Jarrett, all there is 2026. You see what I'm saying? Like these guys have this year. Next year is an enigma. If I'm Ryan Poles, I'm saying that these guys have this year, and y'all need to make this year work. If it works, we'll talk in 2027. See what I'm saying? But the upside for the overall team is if it don't work, and this is the overall if it don't work, I think we have the offense figured out, and I think we're going to see that this season. And if it don't work, there's about $100 million plus to make it fucking like not only work, but work like clockwork next year. That's if it don't continue. The contingency plan is in place.
You see the game in dollars and cents, and it took me a while to understand that. It took me a while to understand where your perspective.
The game is a business, my friend. In a major way.
Of course it is.
In a major way, it's a business. It's a chess. It's chess with dollar bills.
It took me a while to accept the fact that that's where you are, and while we do these shows, why your mind always bends that direction. And I understand it. I totally understand it. Part of my mind goes there too, but fleetingly when it comes to the game, because I'm so busy doing other stuff when it comes to X's and O's and understanding certain things that are happening. You know, I don't spend a lot of time worrying about that, but that's just me, you know, being an ex-football player. That's just how we're wired. You know what I mean? And
that's why I'm saying your perspective on this is super. It's super valid because there's two distinct ways of viewing this, and your way is very important because that is the fuel for the team behind the doors at House Hall on Monday. That's the drive that they have on Monday, right? When they open the doors, they get there and they put in work for the 2026 season. You're a billion% right.
Like you'll be thinking about what we can do with cap space and different things like that down the line and how they can manipulate that to help us. You'll be thinking something like that. Now, the conversation going on about Kyler Gordon, what's going on with him. My mind automatically goes to the human aspect of Kyler Gordon. I start thinking shit like, yeah, we need him, but what's going on with you, man? What's really going on with you? Maybe he knocked down some stripper or something and got into a bad situation and he's suffering because of that situation and he's trying to get that figured out. And it's getting drugged through the mud. I start thinking stuff like that that's very real that you may or may not hear about. But, you know, my mind goes to that. You know, because in real situations, there are star athletes that are being preyed on by predator women. You know, start thinking about stuff. I didn't mention
that there's women predators out there.
Come on, man. They're beasts. They are beasts that's looking and sitting up there, you know, sharpening their teeth.
Scrolls, you hear about this?
There are some out there that prey on. But anyway, man, we ain't gonna get too much into that. But that's the way our mindset works. I mean, there's a difference there. But you know, all that being said, do I think we have the ingredients to be a championship team? I'm gonna say yes, but I think we're gonna be better by the time the season is over. Whether it be just because of the amount of reps we play together, or they add some talent between now and the trade deadline. That means somewhere during camp, after camp, somewhere around the trade deadline, I think we'll be a better team as far as physical talent goes. And it's going to give us some of the things that we don't see happening right now. That's what I think. But those things we talked about tonight, those bullet points are, in my opinion, prerequisite. And I think these guys agree with me tonight, prerequisites of a champion, man. This is the way it is. You got to have those things. But any last thoughts about any of those things that something stuck out? You want to point it out before we get up out of here?
Nah, I'm straight, man.
No,
great show tonight.
Yep.
You sure? All right. Want to get some closing thoughts before we get out? Start with you, kid.
Yeah, let me big up the chat as per normal. Jay Grizz, Levante, you guys are killing it in the chat. Oops. unaliving it. My bad. Who else is out there? Paul Rodriguez. Shout out to you. Shout out to Paul Ski. Ron Windarski. Big up to you. Big up to the new job. And Scrolls has put you on pause one too many times. So mad love to Scrolls either way. Thanks for the gifts to all those no maniacs out there, Ron. We appreciate that. Safe travels to Smitty Q, man. Be safe out there. He says he's going across the country. Who else am I missing? Am I missing anybody else? I know there's been a lot of new folks out there, man. Big ups to all you new folks. I saw a couple of you guys today. One of your names I just flat out couldn't pronounce, but is what it is. Who else was out there, man? Anybody else to bang out? True Pilgrim, Cloud Chasers is with us tonight. AC Adam jumped in. Yeah, that's the guy I couldn't pronounce. I'm not going to try to do that now. And Leo Reigns, big ups to all you guys, man. Give you a whole bunch of love. Come check us out on Wednesday. We will be doing some extra sauce as per normal. God only knows what we'll be getting up into. But there will be some Chicago Bears there for sure. So we will touch on any new news developments in that regard. Outside of that, the world is good. House of the Dragon is awesome, and I'm about to catch me episode 2. Trip?
Yeah, make sure everyone is subscribed to all 3 networks: Nomad Network, Kedz a Canuck, and Sports Chicago Style, also known as Triple R SCS. And give a shout out to those, not only in the United States, but I believe, throughout Europe, there's a heat wave going on. Everybody stay cool. And then like Venezuela and other areas that had to or suffering through the earthquakes and aftershocks and all that, which was ridiculous. Y'all be safe down there and be safe.
Yeah, we might have to bring some of that up on Extra Sauce because it seems like the Ring of Fire is really starting to come alive, man. And that's the Ring of Fire.
Oh, you see, he with me on this one.
I know. I happen to know that.
It's Johnny Cash, man. Ring of Fire.
Hey. If I had to say, I think we made some pretty damn good shows that as Bears fans, it made us think, whether it be an X and O conversation about, the layers of football and the nuances of football, but how we described and broke down what it's going to take for us. I don't know if I've seen a show yet that broke it down and got as introspective as we did about our team and do we have the components and put it down from layer to layer like we did tonight. I don't know if I've seen that. Not at least in our Bears community. I haven't seen that. And so shout out to these boys right here for, making sure that conversation went the way it was supposed to. Nothing was scripted. Nothing was discussed beforehand. They knew nothing about any of the stuff that was going to be said. But what came out of them was their truth. What came out of the No Maniacs was their truth about what they thought this Bears team is and whether or not these things are important or do we even have any of those things. But that's the way we saw, championship DNA, championship pedigree. They better have those things. I don't think No Maniacs disagree with us tonight for the first time. So that was cool, that we go ahead, Kedz.
No, man. You rock and roll. I'm actually just in flat out agreement that for the most part, the No Maniacs were in agreement with us.
We invite all the spirited conversation, and you don't have to agree with everything we say. Fight us back. But when we make a point that's really on point, you can see it in the chat. It's unanimous, and that's what we're gonna need. So go back and watch the show. There's gonna be shorts that's gonna come out from these conversations that we'll put out there for the rest of the Bears community that don't come here. They're gonna wish they came here because it don't happen like that nowhere else, man. We broke this shit down tonight. That's what we're gonna need, man. But thank you guys for being here on this fine Sunday night. Y'all take care of each other, man, and be nice to each other. Be well. Take care of the Bears community like we always do, man. We do this stuff for each other. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of Kedz, the Canuck, his channel, Sports Chicago Style, Triple R, and his channel and his personalities. I say that we thank you all, and we're going to leave you guys with these famous words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.